Hey Rockstar, Steve aka Void here. Welcome to another episode of RIFFSTARTER, where I help you play your favorite riffs from day one by removing those annoying speed bumps and roadblocks that slow you down. All the strategies and techniques from the show can be found in my best-selling book, Practice Less, Play More, which you could find at playsongsfaster.com. So I hope that you had a great week and you're having a great day so far. Today we are going to be focusing on one of my favorite riffs, which is by the Smashing Pumpkins, 1979. And this riff here, it's a pretty straightforward riff, but I find that a lot of guitar players get their hands tangled up. And this is because they're doing kind of the classic sin, which is they're trying to match their current skill level to the level of the riff versus trying to match the riff to their current skill level first. And that's how you play from day one. So that's what we want to do. We want to match the riff to your current skill level when you start. That's how you play from day one. And then from there, you upgrade until it sounds like the original or until you're satisfied. So it's a counterintuitive approach, but it totally works. And sometimes it seems like there's a bunch more steps and it's going to take longer. But actually, because everything is based on that musical foundation and you're getting win after win after win, and it's based on that steady pulse, what ends up happening is you end up getting more of a foundation to build on versus always struggling with the version that you hear on the record. Okay, so let me know inside the comments that you're there, where you're watching from. It's always great to see you. And let's get right into it. So if we look at the tab itself, okay, there are going to be a couple things. I'm just going to kind of go over, if this is your first time checking out RIFFSTARTER, I usually go over the tab and kind of show you what not to do. And like, you might miss a few things here on the tab. Like for example, you might miss that it's actually in half step tuning. So you have like E flat tuning versus standard. But this also might be a bit confusing where it's in E flat, but then also there's one that's B flat. That's very strange. So if you're in standard tuning, like right now I'm in standard, then it's not going to sound good with the record. It's actually going to sound horrible, and that's not going to be fun. So I've got a Digitech drop pedal over here, which you heard me play in the intro there. This is the standard, and then it automatically tunes it down, which is cool. I highly recommend that pedal. Anyway, so that would be how you get to E flat. For the majority of this, at least to start, I'm going to keep it in standard when I play, but I want to show you here. So these symbols, if you've never seen this kind of thing before, then this might be a little bit confusing, and also, you know, like you might not know which fingers to use, but these are basically octaves. And all this is saying is just like these X's are going to be blocked, okay? So you make sure that you're playing the 6th fret and the 8th fret on the 5th string and the 3rd string. Okay, cool. And you have this drone, this E that's going over top of everything. Or in the correct key. And this might sound a little bit weird with the microphone, but okay. But these are the chords here. Okay, now again, I'm gonna keep it to on the intro I turned off the microphone because the Digitech drop, you're basically hearing the result, plus you're hearing inside this microphone over here the standard tuning. So you're hearing it's gonna sound like a complete clash. But here I'm gonna stay in standard tuning, and I'm gonna just show you, like, so when you're playing that, it's not so bad, but then you have these little skips here that might trip you up a bit, and then you got this bend, and it's kind of going like, okay, a couple notes here, and then you have the open string and one note, open string one. It's a little bit of, it could be confusing, okay? We have this little skip here as well. So what I recommend that we do first is we're going to start off by not doing the octave, just starting off with only the note on the 5th string plus the drone, okay? And this is what it would look like. So you basically, instead of going like this, like that, what you would do is you remove the ring finger there, you just basically play the index finger, you go. So you do the moves, but without the octave. What I recommend is remove the skips. So you remove those skips. So instead of going like that little chicka in there, I would remove that. I'd keep everything going steady. Okay, and also this is a bit rare, but what I would do instead of just subtracting, because subtraction is a core part of simplifying, instead of just subtracting, a rare kind of thing, a rare technique is to actually add. So when we have here, when we have this break here where the steady strumming stops for a second, it goes, it stops, boom, boom, boom. Okay, here it stops there. I recommend actually just keep it steady throughout the whole thing. So it would look like this. So that way you could concentrate on this hand being steady and keeping time. Even on the next section, and instead of doing the bend that is shown over here, instead of doing this bend, a half step bend is a 1 fret, the target note is 1 fret up. So it's actually the 7th fret. So I'd go 7, 6 here. So to paint that melody. So like, keeping this nice and steady, 7, 6. Instead of doing the bend. Now you might ask like, well, but I want to do that bend. Well, I wouldn't do that yet until you can play the whole melody and have that in time where you're playing along with the record. Because if you go like this, where your hand is like this the whole time, you're gonna be more likely to play it in time versus if you're gonna go like this, where yeah, it's like you're stopping and starting. It's even, I'm kind of screwing up like with the stopping and starting here, like having that little, the chukkas and the stopping, it's just a lot to coordinate at first. So you just smooth it all out first with the steady strumming. And once you're able to do that, then you could just start adding an upgrade. So you might upgrade, maybe you just don't do the, like one option would be to remove this one. So it would sound, instead of like this, you'd go, so, but you're more comfortable with it now that you've established that you could play the whole part. Now we can remove that one stroke, and you're not going to be, you're not going to be thrown off. Okay, that's one option. Or you just keep the steady strumming going for a little while, and then you add the octaves back in, so you're able to do the steady strumming. Okay. But then you're like, okay, cool, that was good. Now let's keep the steady strumming, but let's do octaves. And then you keep the same, the rest the same. Like that. And so every single time you succeed, you can upgrade. And then you succeed there, and then you upgrade. And then you succeed and you upgrade until you start adding, oh, you know what, let me do that bend again. So I'm going to do... do that little bend in there, and it's a down bend. Okay. Okay. I would probably still keep the steady strumming. The more that you could keep this robotic, the better. But then, if you want after that, then you want to add that the stops in there, and then the little chukka, the little down up skips. Then you could totally do that. But that's a pretty easy riff as far as you. Like, as far as your timeline goes, I would say that instead of just jumping in, looking at the tab, trying to play face value, and trying to like do all the moves. Now, for some people, you might be able to get it right away, and if you are, great. But I've just seen too many people play the riff where you're playing like. It's a stop and go. That doesn't sound like music. That just sounds like information. You're just like processing data. You do this. Now do this. And then when you're comfortable and you don't have any question marks in your mind, now do this. Like, this just doesn't sound like music. So you first have to get the music happening. And that's why instead of trying to match your current skill level to the level of the riff, match the riff to your current skill level. That's how you play from day one. So hopefully you enjoyed these simplifications. Again, if you want to grab my best-selling book, Practice Less, Play More, you can grab that. And also there's a great deal if you check out playsongsfaster.com, then you can get that and the companion video course right now. At the time of this recording, it's for $7, so you can't beat that price. Check it out. There's going to be strategies in there. It works with any tab that's out there. Like, a lot of people say like, hey, but there's no tabs in the book. Like, look at all these words and all this. This is all strategy. Okay, this is all strategy you could use with other tabs that are available online, other tutorials, and you check that out. And it builds off what we talked about on the show. And yeah, I hope that it unlocks the guitar and the song learning process for you, that you don't take hours and hours to play songs. Instead, you're playing songs from day one, and then you upgrade from there, because that's really what it's all about, is playing the song and then upgrading. You're going to find that it's way easier to do that versus just jumping into face value right away. So I hope you enjoyed today's episode, and we'll see you in the next one. Take care.